Today, in this video, we will discuss about else if chain or else if ladder. Now, in this else if chain or else if ladder, this else if chain we will use when we have a number of conditions. So, at that time, we will use this else if chain and it is also called as else if ladder. Now, for simplicity, we will consider a syntax. We will see the syntax. Now, in this syntax, we can see that we have a number of conditions. So, here we will see this number of conditions that if condition 1, if condition 1, within this condition 1, if this condition 1 is true, then statement 1 is executed. If this condition is false, then it will comes to the else if part and condition 2 will be if this condition 2 is true, then in that case it will execute statement 2. Now we will see the syntax of this else if ladder or else if chain. Within this we can say that here if we have first condition and if this first condition is true, then in that case it will execute the first statement, that is statement 1, and after executing statement 1 it will goes to, now our control will goes to statement x. From this our control will goes to statement x, so it will execute statement x after executing this block, so whatever this statement 1 block. Now if this condition, the first condition is false, then in that case it will check the second condition, that is condition 2. And if this condition is true, then in that case it will execute statement 2 and the control will goes to the statement x. Now my next condition, that if these two cases, if these two conditions are false, then in that case it will goes to the next else if part, and here the condition 3 is given. If this condition 3 is true, then it will execute this statement 3 and our control will go to the statement x. Now the next condition is if these three conditions, condition 1, condition 2, condition 3, all these three conditions are false, then in that case it will check the condition 4. If this condition 4 is true, then in that case it will execute statement 4. And after executing statement 4, again our control will goes to statement x. So in this way there are the number of conditions, and if the condition is true, then it will execute the particular block of the statement, and after executing that it will execute statement x. So in this same way we can say that we have n conditions. So else if condition n, we have n conditions, so last condition is condition n. Now if this condition is true, then it will execute statement n. After executing statement n, our control will goes to the statement x. So in this way there are the number of conditions are there. These conditions are checked over here, and here we can see that initially we have written that whatever the conditions are there, that conditions are evaluated from the top of the ladder downwards. It means in this, first we will check condition 1. If this condition 1 is true, then it will execute statement 1. But if this condition 1 is false, then it will goes to the condition 2, this else if part. It will execute condition 2. Now if condition 2 is also false, if this condition 2 is false, then in that case our control will goes to the condition 3, else if condition 3. Here the condition 3 is checked. If this condition 3 is also false, then it will goes to the else if part and it will check the condition 4. If this condition 4 is also false, in this way there are the number of statements are there, number of conditions are there that was checked, that will be checked, and here the else if, that condition n, And at the last, if this condition is also false, then in that case our control will comes to this else part and it will execute this default statements, the statement default. So by default it will execute this statement. Now after executing this statement, the control goes to the statement X. Now this same case is represented by using the flowchart of else if chain or the flowchart of else if ladder. In this flowchart we can see that in this flowchart it starts from this condition 1. If this condition 1 is true, then it will execute. Now if this condition 1 is true, then in that case it will execute the statement 1, and this statement 1, after executing statement 1, control will goes to the statement X. In this way, now if this first condition is false, if this first condition is false, then the control goes to the condition 2. If the condition is true, then in that case it will execute statement 2. After executing statement 2, the control goes to statement X. If this condition 2 is false, then in that case it will goes to the condition 3. If here this condition 3 is true, then in that case it will execute statement 3. And after executing statement 3, now our control goes to the statement X. If this condition 3 is false, if this condition 3 is false, then in that case it will execute condition 4. Now again if this condition 4 is true, then it will execute statement 4. After executing statement 4, our control goes to statement X. If this condition 4 is false, then in that case it will execute this condition, that condition n. And if this condition n is true, then in that case it will execute statement n. This statement n, after executing statement n, the control goes to statement X. Now if this condition n is false, if this condition n is false, then in that case it will comes to the else part which is given in the syntax. So it goes to the else part and it will execute the statement default. After executing this default statement, again our control goes to the statement X. Now in this way we can draw this diagram. We can draw this flow chart. So this is an else if ladder, and this is for understanding of else if chain or else if ladder. Now we will see a program by using else if chain. In this program we will write a program to print the day according to the number entered by the user. So here we have to print 1 for Monday, 2 for Tuesday, 3 for Wednesday. In this way the next numbers, for 7 we can write it is Sunday. So in this way we have to write a number. It may be 1, 2, 3 from 1 to 7, and after entering that number it will print a day. For example, here I print 1, then in that case it will print Monday. If I press 2, then it will give you output as Tuesday. If I press 3, if the user will enter the 3, then its answer will be Wednesday. Now in this way the next numbers will be there. So therefore my first task is to take the number from the user. So that's why we include the two header files, that is standard input output header file and console input output header file. Next void main is given. Now after void main we have a variable, that is day. This day variable is of integer data type. Now first we have to print a message for the user that enter the day in number. Now user will enter the number and it will be stored at the address of day. So therefore we write scanf %d ampersand day. Now we have to write the else if ladder. So that's why if the value of day if the value of day is equal to 1, if the value of day is equal to 1, then we can write that printf Monday, and here this block is closed. Now if this block, after if statement, whatever this block is there, this block contains a single statement, then in that case, if you have not given this brackets, this curly brackets, then it is okay, then there will be no error. Now for example, here we used the brackets, we use these curly brackets. Now in second case we will not use it. For example, else if. Now if the value of day is equal to 2, if the value of day is equal to 2, then in that case it will print Tuesday, like this. So here we have not used these curly brackets. Why? Because this function or this statement, this else if statement, it contains only a single statement within this block. So therefore, when it contains a single statement, at that time this curly brackets, it can be avoided, or it cannot be written. So if you have written, then it's okay, it is good thing. But if there is a single statement, then at that time, if we have not write that curly brackets, then it is also okay, then there will be no error. Now my third condition is else if and the value for day is equal to 3, then it will print Wednesday. Else if the value of day is equal to 4, then it will print Thursday. Else if the value of day is equal to 5, then it will print Friday. Else if day is equal to 7, and then it will print Saturday. Now after this we will write else if day is equal to 7, then we will print that it is Sunday or it is holiday. So here we will write that printf it is Sunday. So now if here we have written these conditions when the value of day is 1, value of day is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So in this way the value from 1 to 7, it will print certain numbers. But if the user will give the another number from 1 to 7, so therefore that concept or that concept will comes in else part. So here in else part we write the printf statement, we write the message that enter number between 1 to 7. Else printf enter number between 1 to 7. If your number is from 1 to 7, then it will print this corresponding message. Now if it is not within 1 to 7, then it will print this else part. Now at the last our program is closed, so therefore here we write get ch and my program will be closed. Now for simplicity, I will again repeat that how my program will be executed. Now for this, I will write my output on this side. So here what will be my output? My output will be this: enter the day in a summer, in the number, enter the day in number. Now if the user will enter, 3, now what will happen? The 3 value it is stored in this day. This 3 value is compared with 1. It is not equal to 1. So therefore our control goes to the else if statement. Here it will check the condition that this 3 is equal to 2, condition false. Therefore it will comes to this else if part. Here day is equal to 3. Yes, 3 is equal to 3, and therefore it will print that Wednesday. Now for this day 3 we will print Wednesday. So in this way our program will be executed. Now instead of enter the day in a number, instead of 3, if the user will write 7, then first user will check the first condition, second condition, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then here the value of number from the user it was 7, and if it is equal to 7, here 7 is equal to, here 7 is equal to 7. So before this we will check all this condition from 1 to 6. After this, for day is equal to 7, that this 7 is equal to 7, condition true, and therefore it will print Sunday. But if here I will write the enter the day in number, and if user entered 10, then in that case it will check all the conditions from 1 to 7. No match is found, and therefore it comes to the else part, and it will print that enter the number between 1 to 7. So in this way the message will comes. So this is a simple program by using else if ladder. Thank you.